with fishing Lake Chickamauga. Today I'm going to talk to you about rattle traps. The audio on this might suck because it is pretty windy, but let's jump right into it. This is personally one of the best rattle traps I've had. I don't know if you can tell. I have used it a lot this year. I've caught them swimming them, just buzzing them through, ripping them through grass. Then just the other day, Friday, back before we got flooded here in East Tennessee, I was yo-yoing this, and I caught 15 bass off this one lure right here, just yo-yoing it up and down, and just reeling in the slack. So, I mean, anything is possible with these lures. To me, they're the all-around universal lure for all times, just because you can fish them different ways. You can fish them slow, you can fish them fast, you can fish them just about any way you want to. So I'm gonna cast this out here, and I'm gonna show you the way I yo-yo it and retrieve it, and slow retrieve, fast retrieve, pause it, give it a couple snaps like you do a jerk bait. So here we go, and we'll cast it on out. All right, let's get started here. Pretty much, I'm just gonna go through, tell you how I yo-yo. We'll cast it out, let it sink for 4 or 5 seconds, or until it hits the bottom, depending on how deep you are. And really all I do is just lift up, let it sink down, reel my slack in. And I just repeat this process until it gets to the bank, or to the boat if you're fishing on a boat. And when a fish hits it, you're gonna know it. You're gonna feel like it's a wet sock, or it's a rock, that you hit a rock or you hung up on a rock. You'll know it, and then most of the time, they don't hit it when you're pulling it up, they hit it on the fall. So always keeping that in mind. It's the same as text rigging, jigging. When you got a jig, it's when you pop it up and you make them flappers flap like that, and it comes down and it hits. 9% of the time, that's when you're gonna get your strike. Another kind of retrieve is reeling it in, buzzing it in real fast, and coming to a stop. Like that, you just cast it out. Then you start reeling, stop. Reel, stop. Reel, stop. Just like that. Then you can repeat that process to fast to slow, slow to fast. All it is giving the bait a different presentation. And usually, the different presentation is what the bass want, from fast to stop, fast to stop. And to me, I just think a rattle trap is all around best lure. A lot of people will say not to fish it during the winter time, but I think it's a pretty good bait all around in the winter time, spring, summer, fall, and I feel like it's just an all around good bait. Now I do make different types of rattle traps, but my particular favorite of the rattle traps is this one right here. You can tell it's supposed to have the eyes on it, and I have fished this thing a lot, and I've caught a lot of fish just on this one rattle trap. I mean a bunch of fish. Like Friday, I caught 15 fish off this one rattle trap right here. Actually caught my biggest fish of the year and my PB on this rattle trap by yo-yoing it. And it's just the same as every other bait. if you find the structure that they're on, you're gonna wear them out. It's just a structure. And fishing, to me, is you gotta have luck while you're fishing. That's all there is to it. Luck's got to be on your side when you're fishing. But these kind right here, this kind of type of rattle trap that looks like this, I personally like the best. When it swims like this, and it'll swim through the water shimmying, and then it'll hit cover, and it'll go like that, and then like that. It just makes that shine like that, and the fish love it. The fish love that kind of action, to me, up here on Chickamauga. And I just personally like this shape of a rattle trap. Now, you know, like the original rattle traps, how they come out to a sharper point than this, and they ain't got this big belly. I like those too, but I've had more success with these kind of rattle traps right here than I have with the original shape of rattle traps. There's another way you can fish this kind of rattle trap. It's the same, almost the same as yo-yoing, but if you got a bunch of grass, instead of yo-yoing it up, you can rip it to the side and rip it through the grass, and it'll hit the grass and it'll shimmy like that, and it'll give it an erratic action. And plus, when you do that, you bring your rod tip away, so you got to reel in the slack, and it stops the bait and it lets it flutter down. And 90% of the time, that's when you're going to get your strike. Then there's another way you can fish it, is cast it out, reel it in, a moderate retrieve, then just give your rod tip a couple pops like you do a jerk bait, and it'll give it an erratic action like that. It'll make those BBs inside of it make that noise, and the fish love that too. Now, I knew about the yo-yoing style of these to fish these rattle traps. Now, I never did put it to use. I always like to cast it out, find the structure, find the bottom, and bounce it off the bottom and make it have an erratic action after it hits a rock, after it hits a log that's laid down on the bottom. I've always enjoyed fishing like that. But you gotta fish the way that the fish are going to want the bait. Is it fast to slow with the pause in between? Is it yo-yoing it? Is it ripping it through grass and making that erratic action when you rip it through the grass? It's all on what the fish want, and you got to find out what the fish want. Here's a picture of the fish that I caught Friday evening when we had a little bit of slack in the rain, and I'll show it right here. Let's talk about the setup that I use. Really, I like to retrieve with my left hand. I like to reel with my left hand, so I went and bought a left-handed reel. Now, I'm a budget fisherman, and I just go out and buy the cheap stuff. I got a Black Max left-handed reel, the Abua Garcia, 6:4:1 gear ratio, and that's what I use. And I use, well, for my reel. Now, for my rod, it is a Delta. For you that don't know what Delta is, it is a H2O Express by Academy $12 rod that has not let me down yet. It is a 7-foot medium heavy fast action. I like this rod. It's my only bait casting rod that I have. I like it because I can throw this rattle trap on it, I can throw a spinner, I can throw Texas rig, I can throw a jig, I can flip, I can pitch, I can do everything with this rod. So to me, it's just an all-around rod that I really enjoy. And for 12 bucks, it has stood up pretty good to the test and abuse that I normally put rods through. It is also a one-piece rod that, to me, the one-piece rod gives you more sensitivity than the two-piece rod. The line that I'm using is the Berkeley Tri-Line 17 pound. That's what I use. I use it just about on everything. Yes, I could lower my line weight down depending on how low or how high I want to get my lures in the water column. But I also fish around a lot of heavy cover, and just a 17 pound, it's really sensitive. I can feel a lot with this Berkeley Tri-Line 17 pound. I can feel a lot with it. Smooth casting, I can cast country mile with it. I really enjoy it. And with it comes to a rattle trap setup, I think, my personal opinion, a medium heavy rod with a fast to extra fast action is the way to go. It seems like it performs the best. 7 foot up. I keep this in my car, so all I usually get when I buy a rod is a 7 foot rod. I could possibly go a little bit bigger, but I like the 7 foot because it's compact enough to fit in my car and get in and out of my car without hassling and finagling with it. But this is the rod, this is the reel, rod and reel combo that I enjoy, plus the line. Now, when you're fishing rattle traps, you can go with a lighter line depending on the size rattle trap you got. I mean, they make rattle traps all the way up to 1/4 ounce, and I think they make 1/8 ounce rattle traps for crappie and for your lakes that do have smaller bait fish. That would be the way to go, is the 1/4 ounce little rattle traps about that big with 8 to 12 pound test line. That would work very, very good for those smaller rattle traps. You could, if you're crappie fishing, you could take it on down to 4 to 6 to 8 pound test line. But I like to fish structure, so I'm always going to keep a little bit beefier line if I'm fishing crappie, if I'm fishing bass. But I'm gonna get back at it, try to catch me some fish, and if I hook into one, I'll let y'all see it. There's something else I want to touch on. If you come out here and you bank fish like most people do, like when they're on a budget like I am, I got a kayak, yes, so what I take comes out with me. But what really grinds me up is when people come out and they bank fish. They bring out their water bottles, they bring out their Dr. Peppers, they bring out their drinks and their fishing supplies, and they leave them on the shore. Take your daggone garbage with you. It's not that hard. You come in with it, you need to leave with it. And this is what I'm talking about. Right here, all this, in one spot. You got your Twisted Teas, you got your Starbucks, you got all this, all in one spot. And people come here and fish this spot. Take your crap with you when you leave. If you liked what you've seen, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, also hit the ding dongs there so you'll get notified when I upload another video. And we'll try to at least upload a couple videos a week. I know when the summer hits, it's going to kind of be hard, but like I always say, when you get the chance, take someone out to the outdoors. Get them involved in hunting, get them involved in fishing. Just get them out there in the great outdoors and just spend time in God's creation with somebody, with a loved one, with a family member, with friends. Just get out there and enjoy God's blessing that He bestowed upon us. Thank you, and God bless. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you.